Nepotism in Hollywood. James Gunn has cast Sean Gunn to play Maxwell Lord. Now, James Gunn is, of course, one of the CEOs of DC Studios, and Sean Gunn is, of course, his brother. I quite like Sean Gunn, actually. Everything I've seen him in, he's fairly non-offensive, quite frankly. Not an amazing actor, but he's also, again, not offensive. He's fine. Do I think he's Maxwell Lord? No. But okay, I guess. Now everyone's come out and claimed nepotism. Is there a certain amount of nepotism? Yeah. Absolutely, it's his brother. To claim otherwise, I think, is hugely disingenuous. Nepotism happens all the time in Hollywood. Sometimes it actually works out quite well. You know, oh, I cast you because you're my brother. But you're also a good actor. Not saying this is the case here. I think him as Maxwell Lord is awful, quite frankly. But he's copping some flack all over the place. I mean, Zachary Levi came out and said, when you're the brother of the guy who runs DC, you get to play who you want. This was actually in an interview with comicbook.com. And yeah, I mean, he literally threw shade at James Gunn and said, when you're the brother of the guy who runs DC, I guess you get to play who you want. I mean, it's probably not the guy he wants to play, quite frankly. He was probably just, do you want a part? And he was like, yeah. And he was given Maxwell Lord. I'm sure that's probably what's happened. Now, it is important to note, right, like Sean Gunn, for instance, he was an actor before James Gunn cast him and stuff. So it's not straight up nepotism. It's not like you're just getting an upper hand in the industry from the off because your brother does, you know, directing. He has done stuff before he was cast in James Gunn's movies. But there is a bit of nepotism there in terms of, like, favoritism, I guess is how we would say it, right? So he's responded to this. So Gunn clarified, basically, no actor would play two characters in the DCU is what he said. But Gunn later clarified his position on social media when he explained that the same person could have multiple voice roles, but when it came to live action, the rule was generally no. And that makes sense. Voice roles can be anything, right? Like, I mean, you can change your voice massively, but if you're physically on screen, it's going to not go down that well if you're in multiple roles. So loads of people are getting really angry over on Twitter, or X as it's called now. Is anyone going to start calling it X, or is everyone just going to keep calling it Twitter? So James Gunn has obviously cast Sean Gunn as Maxwell Lord, and Sean played Weasel in the Suicide Squad, and is now also voicing G.I. Robot in the Creature Commandos animated series. So that's 3 roles. Because wasn't there some like commentary that Weasel would return as well? So that isn't sitting well with fans. This article says for some reason, I can kind of see why to a degree. Because people are just like, oh yeah, of course. Like, of course he's going to be in stuff. But when you think of it like that, yeah, of course he is. I mean, he's his brother. Why wouldn't you? And he's not bad. He's not amazing. He's not bad. Maxwell Lord, I think, is bad casting. But he's not a bad actor. So loads of people have just barraged James Gunn on social media. Bringing up stuff that Gunn has said in the past. So a fan remarked on Threads, accusing Gunn of lying about it. Says, not casting one actor to play multiple characters. Huh? You said not happening, and lie detector shows that. Gunn would obviously shoot back the claim of nepotism and stuff like this by saying, I said very clearly actors will generally only be playing one character on screen, and said in the same response that for voice actors it's not the same. Sean, Alan Tudyk, Maria Bakalova, Steve Agee, etc. all play multiple roles in Creature Commandos. That doesn't mean they won't play different characters on screen. So what's the need you have, and a handful of others, to do desperately need to believe I'm lying, some weird word in there, that you seem to purposefully ignore certain parts of what I've said. Gunn is also bringing back Viola Davis as Amanda Waller and John Cena, which saw a fan remark about the Shazam Fury of the Gods post-credit scene. He probably is including Peacemaker due to the 2 characters at the end of Shazam 2. And Gunn would say, look, it wasn't my call, I didn't write it. Although it came out when I just started at DC, its inclusion far predates me, as there's Harcourt as the warden of an underwater prison. And although I thought it was fun, I have no idea why those characters would be recruiting for the Justice Society. And another fan tried to get, like, Dwayne as Black Adam still. Since there's a place for Shazam in the DCU and both Shazam 2 and Peacemaker had teasers for the Justice Society, can we expect The Rock to remain our Black Adam? I know nothing has been said. Just please consider this and if possible, make it a reality. Thank you for everything so far. It is quite comical actually that Black Adam is currently the highest grossing DC movie of the year. That's hilarious. I think. Gunn would say, wait, what do you consider the Peacemaker teaser of the Justice Society? I wasn't involved with the Shazam thing. So, apparently James Gunn is going with OG Maxwell Lord. So, Sean Gunn playing Maxwell Lord. He would first appear in Superman Legacy, probably. I would imagine. But Sean, yeah, I don't know. As this article says, Sean Gunn isn't a bad actor. He's not, but he's just Maxwell Lord. I just don't really see it. So, yeah, Gunn seems to be adapting from the CU. Says he's flawed and in the early stories manipulated by a sentient AI. A bit of a con man, but in the end, Max is a heart of gold and loves his team. But I'm sure you know that. The comic book creator said, replying to Gunn, which was JD Matisse. I don't know. Gunn would say back, I like the nuanced Max for sure. The evil Max is in some good stories by some good writers and artists, but I always loved the character in the JLI for being multi-dimensional. Some way I loved Waller in Ostrander's Squad. Two characters able to step out of the all good or all evil paradigm that was de rigueur in those days and still is. Actually, I don't know. Look, nepotism, maybe. Massive shade from Zachary Levi, though. Fucking hell, he's pissed at all of this stuff. And I can understand why. He's even come out now and tried to defend the criticism of his performance, which doesn't really help. He's aware, though, of how he came across, but he explains it. So he says, from the first movie to the second, I tried to age him as Billy ages, you know, in his actual younger teen form. Inside he's aging too. Obviously in the first film he was like 15, and in the second he's 17, almost 18. So I tried to address that and bring that into the character, which ironically in some ways kind of made him feel almost a little more immature. Massively immature, actually. Fucking I hated Shazam 2. But that's because when he's 15, he's not trying to be a cool guy. When he's 17, he's trying to be a cool guy. He's trying to be the leader, and he's trying to kind of put out that bravado more. Terrible. And even though he's throwing shade at James Gunn, he's still hopeful that there's going to be a third movie. Says, I think with the third iteration, obviously he'd be a little bit more older, and so kind of incorporating whatever that extra bit of growth and maturation and wisdom would be, and hopefully just go on some really cool adventures with some cool other DC characters. Nathan Fillion and I have been buddies for a really long time, and I think a Green Lantern Shazam buddy comedy would be so much fun. So, I don't know. Something like that. Don't think you're going to get your movie, bud. Probably shouldn't be throwing shade at DC Studios boss James Gunn. But yeah, what do you think? Nepotism? Favoritism? I think it's definitely favoritism. Nepotism? Nah, probably not. Are you annoyed, though, with this? Multiple characters, multiple roles, etc, etc. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Drop it down below. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.